How can parents pay for college these days? It is so expensive, and we all know that. But there are things that parents can do in order to help make college more affordable. So, in today's video, I want to cover 5 financial decisions, financial planning options that you can do in order to save for college and hopefully help your student graduate with as little debt as possible. Now, make sure you hit subscribe because every week we release a new strategy to help you do that. So it can be saving strategies, scholarship strategies, you name it, anything around paying for college, we have a video on. So make sure you hit subscribe. Hey there, my name is Jocelyn Pearson, founder of the Scholarship System and Debt-Free Degree Lab. And this is what we do. We teach families how to build strong financial futures rather than ones where their students are paying on student debt for decades to come. Now, there are numerous ways to pay for college. In fact, if you look at our YouTube channel, there are dozens and dozens of videos, all with different unique strategies. So I want you to come into this knowing that there's lots of options that even families that are down to the wire can do. That said, a lot of this has to do with financial planning, and so I always have to say that you should talk to your financial advisor. You always want to run any of these strategies by them, especially since a lot of them will include some sort of investment vehicle. So let's go ahead and dive in. So the first financial planning decision that a family can make is regarding 529 plans. These often are started when a student is very young, but believe it or not, sometimes it makes sense to start even if your student is about to head to college or maybe even already there and they have a few years left. So 529 plans, they can be, usually they're sponsored by state governments, there can be tax incentives for these, but they're savings vehicles specifically tailored towards higher education expenses. So many states will allow you to deduct contributions for your state income tax calculations, and they will not tax any kind of draws that are for education expenses. So this is a great vehicle for paying for college. I have an entire video all about 529 plans, so you should definitely watch that if this is something that you're interested in. You can check it out. We'll have the link in the description so you can check it out after this video. Now, there are other similar vehicles like the Coverdell Education Savings, you have money market accounts, there's UTMAs, there's so many different vehicles, but usually the 529 plan is the first line of defense when it comes to putting away money to help your student pay for college. Now, just a fun fact here, by the way, if you already have a 529 established for your student and you're thinking, well, what if we get some scholarships? Then what happens to the money? Will I be penalized if we use it for something else? The answer is no. In fact, there is kind of a little bit of a loophole where if your student gets scholarship money, you can withdraw that money, the equivalent amount, for something else without getting that 10% penalty if it's used on something non-education related. There will be gains, taxes on the earnings, but you don't get hit with that penalty for using it for something else. So if you and your student are interested in scholarships, which you guys should be, they should be applying for scholarships all throughout high school and all throughout college. So this is probably a 6-year thing that we're doing. I have a free training with 6 steps on how to secure scholarships. So you can find the link in the description as well, or somewhere here on the screen. But that is a great loophole, especially if your student already has a 529 for them. Now, the second suggestion here is to budget or cut costs in order to help cover college. Every penny that we can pay without having to borrow money is always the best way to do it. If we can make it cash flow some of the expenses, then that's fantastic. In fact, in Debt-Free Degree Lab, in our second program, in our monthly membership, we have a lesson with over 100 ideas, creative ways to save money when it comes to college. So I'm going to give you a few here. One of the first one is to use rebates or coupon apps. Ibotta, there's oh my gosh, I'm not even sure how to say it, Rakuten, but there's a lot of different sites. There's Honey, where you can install it on your browser and it'll let you know if there's coupons out there. So lots of different rebate and coupon options that can just help save little pennies here and there, but they can add up. Another big one, and this is especially big once your student already heads to college, is to eat at home. So you can start that now while they're home and teach them how to cook a few basic meals, especially microwave meals. But I personally can relate to this because when I went to college my freshman year, I spent $1,000 in my first semester eating out. Luckily, I figured it out soon enough to change my habits before I wasted thousands of dollars over the 4 years. But this is a major expense. I'm sure your family can relate, and it's not going to stop once they head to college. In fact, it'll probably get worse unless we nip it in the butt now. Another savings opportunity could be electricity use. So when they first head to college, they might be in a dorm where electricity doesn't necessarily get billed to them. However, once they move out on their own off campus, they definitely will. So learning skills around managing utility use can definitely help. It'll help your own bill, but it'll also help them in the long run because they're going to have to pay that bill eventually as well. Like I mentioned, we have hundreds of ideas around this topic. We have, in fact, a whole video on budgeting for teens, how to budget for your students heading to college. So check out that video. All the videos I'm referencing, all the training sources will be linked in the description. So don't worry about it right now. Go to it once we finish this video. Now, comment below, what are some ideas that you've had to help cut monthly expenses, and so that you can maybe put some money away for college, or help your student learn how to cut some expenses so that college will cost less. Comment below, what are some savings ideas that you've had? And I would love to see your ideas, and I'm sure you'd love to see other parents' ideas. Now, the third one is to consider alternative educational paths, or really alternative ways to get credits so that we can pay less for college. So examples could be advanced placement classes or international baccalaureate classes. These are where students can then take exams for college credits so they don't have to pay for it once they get to college. Bridge programs through community colleges, summer classes at a community college so that they're way more affordable than if they took it at their big university. Trade schools could even be an option here. So any kind of way that we can cut costs versus just signing up for an expensive university is always going to be beneficial here. The fourth financial planning option for your family is to plan for scholarships for college. Now, we again have that free training all about how to find scholarships, especially outside scholarships. But when you are making financial planning decisions, one of them is going to be which college is your student going to and what can we afford? Looking at what is our budget, what are our students' credentials, can they get money from universities, are they competitive, or how can we get them to be competitive? And then looking at what the true university cost will be. These are important financial planning decisions that parents need to look at. And if you can, look at them well in advance before senior year. If we're doing it senior year, a lot of our options are now eliminated. For example, shooting for higher test scores, or finding ways to improve our chances of getting money from universities. So we want to do this planning. If you're watching this, we want to do this as early as possible. So if you're watching this, then you want to try to do this as soon as possible. Again, if you wait until senior year, you will miss out on a lot of opportunities, like finding ways that your student can try to get the most money from a university, or finding out their scores that they require and shooting for those. There's a lot of different tactics here. And then, in addition to this, there are the outside scholarships that students can apply to even sophomore, junior year in high school, so pretty early. So again, all of this goes into that financial plan when it comes to paying for college. Now, in addition to the planning for the money, you can also help your students. You can work with them through the scholarship process. This is something that we see with our #Rebel families. A lot of them, it's a team effort, especially those who get huge results like 6 figures and graduating debt free. So if you're interested, again, if you want to learn how to find those legitimate scholarships, you can do the finding, they can do the applying. Make sure that you check out our free 6-step training on how to secure scholarships. We will link to it in the description and somewhere here on the screen. Now, the fifth financial plan here might be more about your student, and that is to have them get a part-time job. Now, it is proven that a student that works 20 hours or less during school, they actually do better. They have a higher GPA. It gives them a little bit of structure and forces them to learn some time management skills, to plan ahead, etc. So we are huge fans of part-time jobs throughout the semester, not just on holiday breaks, but if your student cannot make that work, holiday breaks, summer breaks, these are great opportunities to get a part-time job. And the reason is that, again, any penny that can be used towards the bill, rather than borrowing that money, can drastically reduce what they have to pay or what you as a parent have to pay towards that education. So this could be a way to cash flow some of the expenses. Maybe they have to work in order to cover their rent, or it could be something that we use to pay off a payment plan for the bill for the college. So no matter what the money is used for, money is always helpful. And I had a free ride, and I still, in fact, had a part-time job so that I could put money away or use it for extra expenses that I wanted or needed. So a part-time job, again, huge fans of this. In fact, we have a whole lesson on creative ways to make money in college as well. So just to recap, I just gave you 5 main areas that you want to focus on for financial planning for college. So as parents, you cannot just hand over this process and say, okay, student, child of mine, you will be an adult soon, figure it out. Because the thing is, these consequences, the amount of money that they're having to borrow these days, it's just too drastic. We're seeing an average of 21 years for student loans to be paid back. So that means that a 16, 17, 18-year-old, if they decide to borrow the money, they will be paying it back probably longer than they've been alive so far. That is crazy. So I really, first off, just want to applaud you for being here and watching this video, but I also want to just cheer you on and say you can do it. Follow these 5 suggestions. Start these conversations with your student. The sooner the better. And I promise you it will pay off in the long run. All right, now make sure you hit subscribe because every week we have a new strategy, including deeper videos on some of the strategies we touched on today. So again, make sure you hit subscribe and check out all the amazing videos I referenced, the free training on scholarships in the description. I'll see you there.